everybody! Good news! It is sunny outside for the very first time and I don't know how long, which is incredible. Also, I have coffee and I've had a lot of it. So let's get to your questions. So first off, I wanted to thank everybody for the overwhelming response on the first Ask Kristen video, in which I was like, ask me questions. I assumed, like maybe there'd be like a handful on there. No, I had to keep clicking show more comments because there were so many questions. It makes this gal feel like $1 million. No, not even 1 million euro. Euros are worth more than US dollars. And I just realized that euro, the currency, sounds a lot like gyro, the delicious lamb pita wrap. To start things off, @StarryDreamer asks, how did you meet Professor Boyfriend? Long story short, we met in college a long time ago. Didn't date, but we had mutual friends, and via those mutual friends, we re-met when we were both living here in Atlanta, and a few years after that, we locked eyes one night, had that silent conversation that went something along the lines of, I wanna see what it's like to make out. Isn't that romantic? @Hidyat Kamal asks, what's the story behind the anchor tattoo on your left wrist? I got it probably 5 or 6 years ago. All of my family at the time was spread all over the globe. We were farther apart than we had, geographically, than we had ever been. And so I got this tattoo to remind myself that even though family might be far away, we are all anchored together through our love for each other. End of the sea! Taytig07 asks, how did you get your start with the Stuff Mom Never Told You podcast? Stuff Mom Never Told You, the audio podcast, exists all thanks to howstuffworks.com, where I started working as a staff writer in 2008, I believe. Soon after I started writing there, Josh and Chuck of Stuff You Should Know fame launched their now famous podcast, Stuff You Should Know. Me and the first co-host of Stuff Mom Never Told You, Molly, pitched a podcast about ladies and lady things. It just came out of curiosity, and I am oh so grateful to How Stuff Works. Katya P, what has been your favorite and least favorite thing about doing this show on YouTube? So as far as my favorites go, I've got two. First of all, having really nice viewers who ask kind questions and leave kind comments. My other favorite thing about it is the fact that I get to explore this kind of creative medium. Before this YouTube show, I hadn't done a ton of video stuff, and now this is part of my job. So that's awesome. As far as my least favorite aspect of it goes, for me, it is scary to put my face and my voice and my thoughts and my humor out on the internet for sometimes not so nice YouTube commenters to pick apart. The potential downside of being on YouTube can also be an upside because it can thicken your skin, and critiques, when they are constructive, can be good because you learn from them. @VeganGirly asks, would you ever actually have your mom in a video? Yeah, I think she wants to be in a video. And I think my dad wants to be in a video. I think my father is a little jealous that he is not more prominent in my videos, but it's nothing against my dad at all. He's a rad dude. @Diana Rojas asks, what were your past relationships like? Do you have any advice on how to keep a good relationship with somebody? One way to develop positive and healthy relationships is to treat those past relationships like learning experiences. When you walk away, don't just walk away and never look back. Actually take some time to think about, okay, what wasn't working? What was compelling me to stay in a relationship that might not have been the best thing for me? In my current relationship, I really try to put the past learnings into practice. For instance, communication to me is like the underlying foundation of a positive relationship. You have to be able to have conversations both comfortable and fun and uncomfortable and not fun. For me, communication is one of the hardest things because it's vulnerability. I think that communication, number one, and also establishing boundaries for yourself. If I could tell my younger dating self anything, it probably would have been to chill out. Don't worry about being single, because being single is radical in many ways. At Jesua asks, what's your background or what do you do? I smell some sciencey background since I'm a scientist myself. I was a journalism major. I've always wanted to be a writer. I got my job at How Stuff Works, as I mentioned, as a staff writer. That's really what fed all of the sciencey background that you see. I mean, I've always been curious about science, current events, history. Working at How Stuff Works really tied all of that together, because as a staff writer and then turning into a podcaster and now a writer, podcaster, vlogger, it allows me to be creative with research. I do love the research process and finding out new information and answering the whys of what we do and how things came to be as they are. I think that anybody can be an amateur scientist if you have curiosity and enjoy reading academic journals, as I do, and can get down on some study methodology. Akasha Lavender asks, have you ever questioned your sexuality? The answer is no. I've always been mildly obsessed with boys. I do love women, and I understand how a woman would love another woman and how a man would love another man. I think there's a lot more room these days for younger people especially to actually think about whether or not they are in that heteronormative box, and that's great. It's so good that the sexual spectrum is more of a public conversation than being something private and closeted. At Yomarkelo JJ asks, can I be secretly in love with you? Yes, you can, as long as you keep it a secret and don't cyberstalk me. At Steven Smith asks, what's your favorite marijuana growing technique? How Stuff Works is a video series called Stuff from the Future, in which I talk about the future of marijuana and legalization. So, you know what? Maybe that would be something that you might be interested in watching. At Sarah Trejo asks, is Professor Boyfriend always right? No. And if he were here, I'd still say no. Tony Matsuo asks, what is better this summer, a bikini or a one piece? What's best for a lady is what she feels most fabulous in. If you want to wear a bikini, go ahead. If you want to wear a one piece, go ahead. But I do say, if you're gonna wear a one piece, don't do it because you're ashamed of your body. Love your bodies, ladies. Seriously though, one podcast listener posted this thing on our Facebook page that really made me happy. If you have a body and you're in a bikini, you have a bikini body. At Ashley Bowling asks, so just wondering if Caroline will be joining on more videos. I very much enjoy yours, but the dynamic with you and Caroline is so great. Caroline will be on more videos. For people who are not acquainted with the audio podcast, I have an amazing co-host, Caroline. She's a busy lady and I'm a busy lady, and we have to come across town to make it happen, and it will happen. I'm glad you asked, because Caroline is awesome. At Requiem Jade asks, what is your favorite book all the cool kids like to read? Favorites questions are always challenging. Someone asked me, what's your favorite fill in the blank? And it triggers like some neurons to shut down in my favorite center. My most recent favorite book is Wild, a memoir by Cheryl Strayed. That's Strayed. It's about her hiking the Pacific Crest Trail. A good summer read if you are into that. The first book that I read that really made an impression on me in terms of wanting to be able to do something amazing with words was in, I don't know, 9th or 10th grade. I read A Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius by Dave Eggers, and I wanted to cry. I loved it so much. Those are some questions and some answers. I hope this was enjoyable. I wanted to know a lot about ye old tattoo. For the next episode of Ask Cristen, why don't we make it themed on love, breakups, relationships, meeting people, talking to women and talking to guys, anything at all romance or heartbreak or modern dating related. Leave it in the comments. If you have a suggestion for a good conversation theme for upcoming Ask Cristens, also leave it in the comments. I'll always take random questions as well, but just to give you a prompt, it's a heart and a symbol of my love for you. Oh, and subscribe.